I'm Robin Dry from Chadwick Clarke. We're architects based in Cambridge. I'm representing the project team who designed the Rising Path here at Botanic Gardens, Cambridge University. The Rising Path takes a very delicate approach to creating a structure in what is a very historic landscape. So the original concept was for a circular structure. So it's a circular rise, spiralling structure. When we started looking more closely at the site, what we found was we had several plants and trees in a position where we needed to manoeuvre the structure and manipulate it away from from a pure circle. We also found that there was the university's primary data connection to Addenbrooke's Hospital and close by, so we had to, that influenced the shape. So what started off as a circle became more of an irregular ellipse. That came with itself with a whole range of challenges, because every single curved element was a different radius and had a different form of geometry. We also wanted to make sure that the rising path sat delicately in the landscape, and one of those elements was to avoid a heavy series of columns as it touched the ground. Working with a structural engineer, we came up with a strategy which created offset columns, which allowed the structure to sit delicately, and it also came with a dual benefit of creating a truss, a triangular structure, which was a series of flat planes which twist as you go up the rising path. That allowed the timber to sit without having to curve, and it meant that all the gaps between the timber were regular. There's only two materials on the structure. There's a coir, which goes for the balustrades and for the decking itself, and steel. The steel structure is exposed, it's galvanized, and it's a raw material, and it's 12 months old now, and it's dulling down and looking very lovely. Behind the coir you've got the steel plates. One of the characteristics of a coir is you need to separate that from galvanized steel. So there's a spacer plate, which means that the timber doesn't stain, but more importantly there's no chemical reaction between the coir and the galvanized steel. The steel structure was an obvious starting point for us. We wanted slender lines, we wanted it to be delicate, and we wanted it to sit harmoniously with the spiralling curve. Each column sits on a galvanized plate, so the entire structure, all the way down to the foundations, are galvanized steel. For us, this was great. This was fast. It was economical. It also means that in such a sensitive site, we can remove any of the components in 20 years' time and actually leave minimum scarring in what is an historic location. I think the Rising Path really shows the potential of galvanized steel. What we have some very specific components which were designed, modelled, prefabricated, drilled, galvanized, and then brought to site and assembled in a way that actually had worked to tolerances which, quite frankly, wouldn't have been allowed, many years ago wouldn't be possible. Here was a finish item which not only looked beautiful, but actually was really well engineered. And for us, it could only have been galvanized steel. The Rising Path needed to have as minimum amount of maintenance as possible. So selecting a galvanized steel finish for the structure allowed the university to have effectively zero maintenance for this, for the steel frame. The selection of the materials and the way they aged and the way they picked up a patina was important to us. The coir starts off as very bright, almost kind of cream yellow colour as a pine, and that will dull down to a silver. The galvanized steel when it arrived was highly polished and finished, and that was the natural finish coming out of the vat. Over time, and in the first 12 months since it's been installed, it's dulled down, and I think both these materials will together age and have a natural patina which for the setting is just beautiful.